If this were like any other year, the 3 days of the Triduum would have started last night. We would have entered this solemn season on Maundy Thursday, as we sat in the pews and watched as the reserved sacrament was transferred to the chapel, as the altar and chancel became bare, the beautiful altar triptych closed. When there was nothing else to say that could be said, the lights would be extinguished, and we would have moved to the doors, silent, feeling the air grow thick around us, walking more slowly, more heavily than we did when we entered. This year is not like any other year. This year is different. We awake at home knowing the day is different, but not sure if it's because it's Good Friday or another day of forced isolation because of COVID-19. Perhaps we decide that since we cannot go to the cathedral, we will create our own silent space. We turn off the television, the iPad. We put our cell phones on mute. We intentionally disconnect ourselves with our only contacts to the outside, so that we can mark this day as different from the days before it. The memories of previous Good Fridays float through our consciousness. In so short a time, so much has changed. We sit in the quiet and think about Jesus, and perhaps there is a new level of understanding for us in how alone he was. Betrayed by one of the 12, denied by Peter, deserted by all, Jesus stands in front of the Sanhedrin leadership, alone. In front of Pilate, alone. He will walk to the cross, alone. As he cries out from the cross the first verse of the 22nd Psalm, we realize that even God seems absent. We think about the false charges made against Jesus by the Sanhedrin, and we wonder, why did Pilate have to condemn him to death? Pilate found no guilt in him, no cause to hold him. He is even warned by his wife not to have anything to do with this man Jesus. But he gives in to political pressure and the demands of an angry crowd. Our hearts hurt at the blatant injustice, and our thoughts turn to those who have died from COVID-19. We realize that injustice has many faces. We pray for the 75,000 in France who have been diagnosed with the virus, and we mourn the more than 9,000 who have died, even as we mourn for the innocent man hanging from the cross. It is a sad fact that nothing can change the past. Wishes and anguish change nothing. As the New Zealand prayer book states, what has been done has been done. What has not been done has not been done. Let it be. But if there is a purpose in our sadness and mourning at all, it is to connect the suffering of Jesus with the suffering in the world today. As we sit in sorrow over the injustice of Jesus' death, and as tears come when we consider the painful way he died, we remember what is occurring around us as this virus moves indiscriminately through countries, towns, homes, families, and friends. The grace that lies deep in the sorrow and pain we suffer is the knowledge that God suffers with us. How else would we be able to get out of bed in the morning if we believed we had to carry all this alone? In the person of Jesus, God suffers with us. The author of the letter to the Hebrews writes, "For we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but we have one who in every respect has been tested as we are, yet without sin." trust this as you move slowly through this dark time. God, too, knows what suffering means. God wept then when Jesus was on the cross, and God weeps today. God's heart breaks for us and with us. We are not alone.